Last night, President Trump signed new 25% tariffs, 25% on all steel and aluminum imports to the United States. The tariffs apply to all shipments of the metals, including from Canada and Mexico, despite Trump granting a 30-day delay of the blanket tariffs on all goods from those countries last week. U.S. steel and aluminum suppliers may benefit from the decision, as they'll have the chance to undercut foreign competitors. But Americans could soon feel the impact on their wallets, as aluminum and steel are used in a wide range of products, from appliances, smartphones, soda cans, and more, and higher import costs would filter through consumers. So, Richard, why does this make a lot of sense?
Well, first of all, your analysis is right. This will save some jobs.
I was waiting for you to say it doesn't.
Well, it doesn't, but I'm trying to explain it. It will save some jobs in this country, or maybe even create a few in the steel and aluminum industries. But it will do so at enormous cost, because there's far fewer jobs there than, for example, there's in the construction industry, which uses steel, or the automobile industry. So the knock-on effects of this will, one, add to inflation, and two, will reduce sales for other businesses. So we'll have unemployment in other parts of the economy. And then, Mika, and the reason it doesn't make sense, is this will invite retaliation. The idea that we can do this and other countries won't act in kind. So this basically will start something of a trade war. And that will be, there's no, like most wars, there's no winners. This will add to cost. So what worries me about this, and this is something the president believes is an article of faith. It's basically, it's what economists call import substitution. Instead of importing things, we're going to substitute it by domestic, but it's much more expensive. So it doesn't make sense. And what's so odd about it, can I say one last thing?
Yeah.
He inherited an economy that's in pretty good shape. It's humming along at close to 3%. Inflation is way down.
Things were moving in the right direction.
Employment was way up.
Yeah.
What this threatens to do is disrupt what was basically a very strong economy. And he could have done some tweaks to it and taken credit for it. What I think he will rue the day here, because at the end, Americans are going to care about inflation more than anything else. And this is going to set in motion trends, whereas there's going to be new unemployment in steel-dependent industries, and there's going to be inflation. So the president, I think, risks the stability of an economy that he inherited that was in pretty good shape, which, by the way, allowed him to focus on other things, like the border or anything else. And the idea that he wants his focus to have to be on an economy that's in trouble, I do not understand the political or economic wisdom of it. So getting back to your question, I don't think it makes sense by his lights.
So how do you explain it, Richard? We were just talking, you've been discussing the economy and foreign policy with Donald Trump for 30 years, well before he was in politics. Why is he doing this if he knows prices are going to go up? It's just the way it works. His own economists are telling him that. His own Treasury knows that. Why is he doing it?
Donald Trump has two articles of faith that have propelled him for 4 decades, maybe now, longer, 5 decades. One is that trade, we get disadvantaged by trade. It's rigged against us. We get screwed, to use an inelegant word. We're always getting ripped off. And then his second strong view is allies, again, are ripping us off. They're freeloaders. And the United States pays much more, if you will, for the world than we get from it. So he wants to do two things. He wants to address what he thinks is the unfairness of trade. He sees trade imbalances. Bilateral, and he said we must be somehow, it's rigged against us. Why isn't the playing field level? There's a whole bunch of economic theory about, Ricardo and comparative advantage, that essentially we shouldn't be making things that others can make more cheaply. We should be focusing on making the things that we make best, quality at better cost. But the president wants to bring back certain types of manufacturing industries that we don't have a comparative advantage, but that is where he is. It's almost as if his views on this got locked in 30, 40 years ago during the problems with Japan and so forth, and he just feels this way. So I actually feel sorry for his economic advisors, because you can't waltz into the Oval Office and persuade the president out of this. This is an article of faith for him.
And he also sees them as leverage. 25% new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports coming into the United States.